We have major Winnipeg Jets updates to go over today, as many key Jets players are nearing a return, and one in particular has Jets fans fired up. We're going to break that down, as well as discuss how the Jets have a big decision to make as the trade deadline looms surrounding their second line center. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jets and NHL content over on Hattrick. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers over there. And over here, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for your continued support there. But ladies and gentlemen, there are some things to go over today, and the Jets are absolutely crushing it right now. They are atop the NHL. They continue to dominate. But Darius, there are some injury updates, and there's also some big question marks going forward surrounding the second line center, and something we want to talk about. But we're going to start with this. So the Jets also, shout out to Mike McIntyre. It's his birthday today. So Mike, if you're somehow watching this, happy birthday to you. If not, either way, wish him happy birthday down below. The Jets beat Seattle 2-1 in dramatic fashion, improving to 31-12-3. This 8-game homestand that we covered before it even started, they are 4-1-2 in. Scheifele and DeMello with the goals. Hellebuyck 18 saves. And an incredible game, and we can dive into the game a little bit. Dylan DeMello got things going. He scored the game winner, 600 career game. It was great in our initial huddle. Guys are going nuts. Profanities, which is funny to say. Profanities and all that fun stuff. Then you come to the bench and see everybody's face lighting up. The Jets are absolutely rolling right now. And as a result, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the trade deadlines we'll dive into in a little bit here. But injury updates are getting some players back soon, and they've been rolling without these guys. And now if they can get them back, things could be very, very big for the Jets going forward.
Yeah, it will. And to get back to the win last night, I mean, this is a very important homestand for the Winnipeg Jets to continue doing what they're doing. They took full advantage of that. Obviously, 4-1-2 is very respectable. Obviously, picking up a ton of points in this homestand as they head out on the road now for the first time in quite a while in Calgary. And, Dylan DeMello leading the way yesterday. Great game. He's always been a great defensive defenseman for the Winnipeg Jets, but obviously getting that last-minute winner there, which was a lot of fun. And obviously profanities, like you said, that's hilarious just to say it like that. But, the vibes are very high. That's the point in Winnipeg right now. The vibes are very high with this team. The fan base, everyone's loving the work that they're putting in. They are well on their way, you would think, to finishing first in the Central Division. Obviously, the Minnesota Wild just got news that Kirill Kaprizov is on LTIR, so that helps the Winnipeg Jets case a little bit more. Obviously, the Colorado Avalanche are there as well, but the Jets have been playing some great hockey, and Dylan DeMello leading the way. But we do have some injury updates, like you alluded to, with some pretty big names, honestly. Like, the Jets are getting a lot of regulars back, or quote-unquote regulars, I guess, that will bolster up the lineup, but they're going to have to almost be forced into an impossible decision here as the trade deadline looms.
Yeah, you look at it here. Colin Miller, Hayden Fleury. Colin Miller is definitely going to get back in there. Hayden Fleury was playing very well before he went out with his injury. And as you look at the defense, which we'll get into in a little bit here, the Jets' Marty Johnson quickly said the plan is to talk to the medical staff today after practice to see how they feel, but we're certainly pushing them fairly hard at this point. So it seems that a return is imminent. It sounds like Miller and Fleury could be options soon. When Johnson deferred to Scott Arneal's next availability on that, I think that's something Scott can answer. But the good news is that we're getting healthy bodies back and they're progressing really well. And I mean, the decision regarding the defense is going to be interesting because Ville Heinola, Logan Stanley, one of those, if not both of those guys, are going to come out here. And with Colin Miller, Hayden Fleury, the issue is now the team is actually, now Logan Stanley hasn't been playing well, but the team has been playing so well that maybe there's a bit of hesitancy regarding who they choose to bring back, whether it's both of them. We know Colin Miller will probably get in there, but we also have updates on Nemestikov and Mason Appleton. They're practicing today. Return doesn't seem as imminent as Miller and Fleury. This was the first real skate with a regular group of players. They're missing a lot of players. They crushed it this homestand. Like, they're going to have to be forced into a very difficult decision, both with their defense group and their forwards in Nemestikov and Appleton. Now, obviously, both of those guys are going to factor into the lineup when it comes to what they're going to do at the trade deadline. But even over the next few weeks, as trades start to pick up here, the question gets more difficult the better the team is without these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what Cheveldayoff has down the stretch here in terms of what he wants to do with this lineup, because we know that they need to add on defense. I think all Jets fans could, agree with that's probably maybe the number one priority at this point, but also I think a center, and this is something I wanted to talk about in this video, but in terms of the defense, like you alluded to, Logan Stanley, not been playing well, obviously. When a couple of these guys come back, you would imagine Colin Miller comes back into the lineup as a full-timer, into the lineup in that last pairing, the third pairing there. and Hayden Fleury might be on the outside looking in for now until they make a trade or maybe shipping somebody out. We don't know what's going to happen with Hanola at this point. Again, I don't know if he's been given a fair opportunity his entire time as a Jet, but he's run into some bad luck as well, and it seems like that the timing of that situation could be coming to a head as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But in terms of the center depth too, I wonder if the Jets are going to go out and make a move for a second-line center. And I think Nemestikov is actually a pretty good player. And again, he's returning from injury here shortly. But they have found a good mix here with Adam Lowry on the second line for now with Ehlers, right? And you can kind of play with the lineup as Nemestikov comes back. But I do wonder if Nemestikov is really, that second-line center at this point that you need going into the playoffs, a guy who can make a difference. If you look up and down the lineup right now, I mean, he's not there. He's injured, right? But having him in the lineup, yes, you're better with him 100%. I do truly believe that. But maybe you upgrade. Maybe Brock Nelson's out there, right? There's a bunch of players out there right now that I think could make maybe a bigger impact in your second line center position. Because if you take a look at his stats as well, Nick, this season, having a decent season, 20 points, 43 games so far this season, obviously dealing with an injury right now, looking to return soon. But, he doesn't really play a lot of minutes, right, for a second line center. He's only put up 20 points playing with a lot of offensive talent on the Jets. So I wonder if the Jets, go out and take a look at acquiring somebody else this deadline to fill in that second line center position.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. And as you look at his stats again here, 44 shots, 20 points, 43 games, 32 years old. He's been important, but as you look at that third line specifically, the third line has been so good since they made this change with the speed of, Kapari being able to be responsible defensively. You have Perfetti who can drive play. You have Nino Niederreiter who can score goals. Like, it fits so well that the big question now will be how this team actually looks going forward with all these guys. And it's a benefit. It's a good thing that they have this quote unquote problem. You see here, Colin Miller spoke at Canada Life Center. He's in good spirits. Said the puck hit him in the throat, took his breath away for a bit, but that he was back to normal 10 to 15 minutes later. Almost, dodged a bullet again there. And regarding the defensive core, I mean, you assume that fourth line could just, you're going to factor in Colin Miller, factor in Hayden Fleury, and see how Scott Arniel goes about it. But they have a lot of question marks. And even, we're talking about them almost having a logjam to a degree. And if they want to add a player at the deadline to help improve their chances, obviously Gustafsson and Toninato, those guys are both disposable when it comes to, not a huge deal. If they replace them, you bring Kapari back down to the fourth line, Iafallo back down to the fourth line, and go back with the fourth line they've been rocking with Barron, Kapari, and Iafallo. If you get Nemestikov back and you add somebody else, but ultimately it's going to be a huge decision here for the Jets as players start to get healthy. And for a team that's absolutely on fire, almost 20 games above 500. It's a great problem to have. They have a couple, draft picks they can use in these deals, and they have some good prospects as well down there in their system.
I'm saying just to bolster the lineup as well. I'm not necessarily saying, trade Nemestikov, like remove him completely from the team, right? You can keep him in the lineup and you can scratch guys and you can go into the playoffs because injuries are going to happen as you go along in the playoffs. You might want a couple more players. So I'm just wondering if they, go out and look at an option to bolster up that second line center position to play with some of the offensive talent that they have up there. And Iafallo, like you mentioned, he's made his way up the lineup recently as well. And they're making do with a couple of injuries, obviously. So if they had more depth in that way, I think they would just be that much deeper of a team. We already know they're a great team and they really need to make a push for the Stanley Cup this year, I believe, because of, some of the recent success in the season that they're having this year. Ride this wave and try and win a Stanley Cup. So make the moves necessary to do that. And I think they're a couple moves away. This is a really good team that they'd probably just need to add, again, a couple pieces to. So it's going to be interesting to see what, Kevin Cheveldayoff has up his sleeve, but it's been really quiet. And I do think that they're looking to upgrade. So it's going to be a crazy deadline, I think, for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, let us know below what your thoughts are on this. Things are going to continue to heat up for the Jets as they continue to dominate every team that steps in their way in their path. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know below what your thoughts are.